Hey everybody, can you hear me okay? All right. Well, my name's Dan Bachmeyer. For this weekend, I'm known solely as father of the bride. First of all, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to this glorious event to celebrate the marriage of Lindsay and Bernie. Thank you all for the time you took, the dollars you all spent, and the miles and miles and miles and miles you traveled to get here. It is a true testament of the magnificent web of family and friends that we're all so fortunate to be a part of. I want to thank all that were involved in the planning of this joyous event. A very special thank you to my daughter Rachel and my daughter-in-law Michelle, their husbands/Sherpas, Ben and Chris, for the amazing amount of time, effort, and creativity that they all put into planning, construction, and execution of this event. Amazing job, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's deserved of rounds of applause. Next, I want a special thanks out to Lindsay's mom, Deborah. Debbie did a wonderful job raising a beautiful daughter who is kind, compassionate, and caring, just like her mother. I want to thank Scott and Michelle Harris for raising such a remarkable young man and encouraging him to share his life with my daughter Lindsay. Thank you so much. You know, being a father is certainly an awesome and interesting endeavor. Being a father of two beautiful daughters is awesome and interesting as well. It can also be arduous and trying at times, especially when boys are involved. I remember when the girls were coming of age, early teens or so, teenage boys began to appear out of seemingly nowhere. Big ones, little ones, tall ones, short ones, smart ones, and well, not so smart ones. For example, one day I was sitting on a couch with a new boy who was making a feeble and awkward attempt to impress me. We were watching and discussing the aftermath of the 9/11 attacks. I had been with the fire department for over 10 years by that point. So seemingly in an attempt to strike up a conversation, this fine young lad looked at me and said, "You know, sir, I think firefighters are overrated." Yeah. I looked at him and smiled. The silence was deafening. One word came to my mind. Next. One day Lindsay brought home a new-to-me boy. I'm sure I gave him the usual, "I love my daughters and I will do anything to protect them. Yes, anything" speech. To my surprise, this new-to-me boy looked me in the eye, offered me his bare paw-like hand, and said as he shook my hand, "I totally understand, sir. My name is Bernie Harris, and it's a pleasure to meet you." Class act. Needless to say, I was stunned and astonished. Standing before me stood a clean-cut, respectful, articulate, and relatively good-looking young man. One who has obviously had taken a shower sometime in the past few days.
Yeah.
I thought to myself, nice kid. Come in, have a seat. Bernie turned out to be the only one of Lindsay's friends that she was allowed to ride in a car with for a while. Like clockwork, he would pick her up and take her to school and bring her home again. This went on for quite a while. I always felt comfortable and confident that he would take care of my little girl. As weeks turned into months, months into years, and years into, well, a little over a decade, his trust, commitment have certainly withstood the test of time. Never once did he give us a reason to question his trustworthiness, integrity, or intentions. Bernie is intelligent, quick-witted, kind, caring, loyal, and very patient. He's just an all-around good guy. Sometimes I wish I was 30 years younger just so I could hang out with him. But above all, Bernie, I know that without a doubt you love Lindsay with all your heart. You will take care of her forever and ever. Thank you, my friend. Oh, I'm not done. A little bit more.
Please go on.
Well, yeah, we don't want to forget this part. Lindsay, Lindsay, Lindsay. Where do I begin? Let me tell you a little bit about Lindsay. Lindsay was always a busy little girl, always on the go. She was always very competitive with her siblings. She was like a cross between the Energizer Bunny and the Tasmanian Devil with a stubborn streak. Lindsay was always an athlete. When she was younger, she was quite a climber. She climbed everything. I remember pulling in the driveway one time and seeing Lindsay hanging by one hand from the basketball hoop. I'm not sure how long she had been there. She just smiled and said, "Hi, Dad." I was never quite sure how she got up there. I was afraid to ask, but I suspect some type of sibling collusion. No fear. She was indeed a climber. I remember having to cut branches off the trees in our yard. I had to trim them up to about 10 feet high in order to make it more difficult for her to climb in a feeble attempt to discourage her. It was not uncommon to find my daughter 30, 40, or 50 feet up in a swaying cedar tree. No fear. We would often take the boats over to Banks Lake. Lindsay would not hesitate to participate in what we called extreme inner tubing, sometimes being bounced 5 feet in the air at 40 miles an hour. She hung on like a professional bull rider, a smile on her face the whole time. We had a spot we could jump off the giant rocks into the lake, maybe 30, 40 feet up. She'd always be one of the first to jump, often putting her older siblings and often adults even to shame. No fear. I spent Lindsay's 18th birthday lying on my back in a grassy field, staring up at the sky with a pair of binoculars, watching in horror as my daughter jumped out of a perfectly good airplane. No fear. On her 21st birthday, she decided she wanted to learn how to scuba dive. Lindsay got certified easily. We dove together many times. Cold water dives, night dives, high-speed, sensitive current drift dives. A lot of times along very tenured divers, and even warm water dives in Hawaii, where animals with big, shiny, sharp teeth hung out. No fear. Now, Bucky, Lindsay, as you enter the next phase of your life, you have an ally and a confidant, a partner and a best friend. Rest assured that man sitting there next to you will always have your back. No fear. As I look back, Lindsay, I can't help reflect on the years I was fortunate enough to be your father, lucky enough to watch you grow and become the beautiful, successful woman you are today. You captured my heart the day you were born. I become more and more in awe of you with each passing year. Today I watched you marry a wonderful man. I am filled with pride, and I am confident that you and Bernie are about to embark on a wonderful journey filled with love, happiness, and epic adventures that can only be attained as man and wife. May the two of you always treat each other with respect, love, and kindness. Don't listen to each other, but hear each other. Don't just look at each other, but really see each other. I ask you all to lift your glass and join me in congratulating Lindsay and Bernie and wishing them all the best for a long and healthy and happy life together. Congratulations, you two.
Woo!
Well, we could open the floor up to see if anybody had something that they wanted to say.
No!
Perfect.
Shut it down.
I would just like to thank everybody for coming.